Hello, and welcome to our weekly author chats. We are going to be chatting, as always, with the wonderful Deedee Cummings. She'll be joining us here just in a minute. We are back on our regular day of Thursday. Hello. We're back on Thursdays now that Thanksgiving's over, but we're looking ahead to Christmas. We're going to be talking about In the Nick of Time, which is a really sweet book by Deedee Cummings. She's going to be talking to us about it. Hello. And it's also illustrated by Charlene Mosley, who is just wonderful. Yes. Hold on. Just getting her on here. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving for those that are celebrating. There you are.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. I see one of my nephews is on. That's a real
Aww.
when one of your nephews gets on and wants to see what you're talking about, I'm honored. Hi, Canel.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm
I
trying
would
to
just
and Catherine Complains. I like that name. And Carlia 71. Thank you all for joining. We're so glad to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
We had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for really enjoyed the family time together and of course all the food. Thanks.
That's a great part.
Thanks. If you know somebody who might be interested in what we're talking about today, I really appreciate you tagging people and letting them know we're on. Thank you so much. Yeah, what about you? Did you get too full?
Yeah, it was good. You know, it's always kind of hard to figure out how much to cook because it's especially with COVID, but also my family, we're all scattered all around. So it's just my immediate family. And so it's like, well, how much do we cook for 5 people? How many pies do you make for 5 people? So we actually just finished off one of the pies today. I'm
What?
surprised it lasted this long. I think we kind of forgot about it. I was like, wait, we still have pumpkin pie. So that was kind of a nice surprise.
Well, yeah, we have sweet potato at my house.
I was gonna ask you about that, which one you do. I've tried sweet potato pie. It is so good.
Yeah,
But I grew up with the pumpkin, so that's what we did this year.
yeah, sweet potato pie is my favorite. We love it. In fact, there's a black-owned company called Sweet Thang out of um, out of Texas. You got to try them. They have the best sweet potato pie there is. So we don't even make them. Just order them from Sweet Thing.
So you ordered all the way from Texas and it gets there on, I'll have to look that up.
Yes, yeah, it's really good. I'll send you a link so you can check it out because it's really good. Um,
Yum.
but anyway, how is life going out where you live? Is it warm?
Good. It's warm. It's kind of, I mean, it's colder than it was. I think it's, especially with the days getting shorter, you
Hmm.
know, it's kind of getting everybody in the holiday mood, even if it's not always that cold. You know, it still feels like winter's coming. And I thought my daughter was going to hyperventilate yesterday when she woke up and realized it was December. She was like,
Uh,
oh, we could start the advent calendar. We can
yeah,
do that. We decorated. When do you decorate? Because we did it over Thanksgiving weekend.
we always used to decorate right after Thanksgiving. But I think last year when everyone was still really in the thick of the pandemic, which I know it's not over, but it was really bad last fall because we didn't have the vaccine yet. And
Right.
a lot of people had started decorating way before Thanksgiving, I think,
Yes.
because we needed some warmth and cheer in our lives. So we decorated last year before Thanksgiving, and we decorated just a little bit before Thanksgiving this year. We had a lot of family coming in, and we wanted the tree up and the lights for Thanksgiving. That we'll do that every year, but it does seem like people are putting up their lights and their trees earlier than ever.
I agree.
Really, how I started writing this book in the nick of time. I saw you showing it right before. So
Do it
thanks
again.
for the cover. I love it. Again, I know I always talk about Arlene, but I can't talk about these books without talking about her because that's her beautiful cover that she created, and the image is inside of an ornament. I thought that was a really nice cover.
Right.
Yeah, I really liked when she did that. But my family loves Christmas, and there just weren't a lot of books out there with characters who look like my kids. Yeah, that's kind of a
Right.
trip to
That was
my.
actually one of my favorite ones because just the way he's gaming, I mean, that looks just like how, she captured that movement. That's just how they are when they're doing their games.
And that looks just like my real life Nick. So, like most of my
Right.
books, Kayla, Modern Day Princess, and In the Nick of Time, and also I wrote another book for my middle son called My Dad's Job. All of
Mhm.
the books mention my children, but they're not really my children's lives. They're just inspired by things that I
Right.
see in their lives. Hey, Kayla McDaniel, nice to see you. Yeah, I thought it looked just like Nick too, especially when he's playing video games. But yeah, that looks like Nick. Yeah, the pictures by Charlene. I just can't even commend her enough for her work and her inspiration that she sees and puts in these books. But how I kind of got the idea for In the Nick of Time was because my family loves Christmas so much. We love all the lights. We wrap all the presents. We bake all different kinds of cookies. We love Christmas, and I wrote In the Nick of Time because my family also loves Christmas books, and
Right.
we find many. We had maybe 12 Christmas books with black on them, and literally couldn't find any more. And it was just so confusing to me because I'm like, it's not really a black or white issue, but I did feel like, why am I having such a trouble finding books when Black people love Christmas too? To,
Right.
to find like 12 Christmas books and that be all there is. So again, like I said, it's not that it's a black and white issue. It's not. It's just that I also would like these warm stories that make us happy and make us feel good. I
Right.
also share some of those stories with my kids with characters that kind of look like them. So
Right.
that's In the Nick of Time how the idea brewed in my head was I wanted to write a story about a adorable little brown boy who learned what the real meaning of Christmas is. And my favorite storyline from Christmas is when a kid gets to help Santa save the day.
Right.
No book, no
Mhm.
book where a little black boy got to help Santa Claus save the
Mhm.
day. And so, In the Nick of Time, that's a little teaser for the end. Nick in the book gets to help Santa Claus save the day, just in time for Christmas.
What I hadn't realized until I read your book is, like you said, there's really not much diversity in Christmas books, but most of the ones that I could think of had black girls.
Mm.
And I couldn't think of any that had black boys. And it didn't occur to me until I saw your book like that. That's something that's really missing is to have a black boy. And like you say, and then to have him help Santa Claus. I mean, that was such a neat storyline. And also to realize how privileged he is. I mean, I think it's so easy for kids to get caught up in the idea of presents. I mean, of course, that's what we're always telling them. And, for a kid, of course, they think about, what gifts they're going to get, and just to see how you really take Nick and take them on this journey of really like going through like several levels of like of how privileged he is. I don't know. I don't know if it's okay to give away too much of what happens in the book, but
Tell me what you.
but well, I just loved it because I think kids a lot of times they don't really realize what it's like for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, and so I mean one of my favorite parts is so basically Nick is helping a boy in his class or at his school who's written a letter to Saint Nicholas, but it accidentally goes to him. So he sees what this boy wants and he realized that he's not getting presents or he's not getting a lot of presents. And so he decides to give him one of his video games, which is so sweet. And that's a big deal for a kid to give a video game, but it never occurred to him that the kid wouldn't have an Xbox to play it on. Like he never thought about that he would, and even if he did, where would he plug it in? Because he's at a shelter and other people have more important things to plug in. I mean, just like all those steps that to think about that I think, kids don't really think about.
And the other thing that I like all of what you just said. Plus, I like that Nick realized that he always thought that if there was a person in need, kind of like sometimes when you see some of the homeless, not all of the homeless, but sometimes you see homeless on the street and they clearly look like they're in need. That was
Right.
another thing revealed was that Nick learned that you can't always tell who needs. You can't look at people and tell that.
And it was just a kid at his school that he thought was just another kid. And I
Yeah.
thought, was that a conscious choice too, to make it the kid who was in need, to make him be a white kid? So it wasn't so much like, or,
I don't know that it was completely conscious. I don't remember it being something like I need this to be a white
right.
kid. Do like for books to have diverse characters. So I
Mhm.
don't all the characters in the book to be all of any one race because that's just not the world we live in. And
Mhm.
I like to send little subliminal messages of how we all need to live. I wrote another book called This is the Earth, and a lot of people think a conservation book or a book about protecting the planet, which in a way it is, but it's
Mhm.
really about Earth being our home. It's a home for everyone.
Right.
And so I like to kind of carry that as a thread through all my books. I
Mhm.
like for people to see the real Earth that we live on because it's this home that we all share. I mean, we all might have one little house that we live in, but the Earth as a whole is our home and we all have to share it. So I like
Mhm.
to show characters of all different backgrounds working together because I hope that it sticks in people's minds. I might not even be talking about that message, but I want people to walk away realizing that we're going to come into contact with people that don't always look like us or people that we can't always tell are in need. Um, and so we really have to be tuned into each other because we have to work together and help each other. One of my favorite sayings that I always say is, when I help you, I help me. And
Mhm.
I try to convey that too in all that message too in all the books.
Yes. Yeah, I think that really comes through in here. One other thing I was going to point out, that I thought was really neat was the relationship he has with his parents.
Yeah.
It's showing, again, showing Black children in a happy, loving home, with two parents, and but that the parents don't solve the problem for him. I know you talked about having these subliminal messages in there,
Yeah.
that they help him and they support him, and once he comes up with the idea, then they throw all their weight behind it to make it happen. But they don't tell him what he should do. They just, kind of encourage him and saying, "I'm so proud of you, son. You figured it out." And then they do it together. But I thought that was neat because I think, parents, a lot of times we feel like we need to step in and solve things, or kids expect us to do that. So I really love that part of it.
And you know, it's interesting. I think some kids do expect us to solve the problems because we're the adults. But what's interesting is if that was a conscious decision to make sure that Nick was able to solve the problem on his own, because I had talked to several people for feedback about the book, and
Mhm.
apparently, um, people who know kids told me that kids don't like kids' books where parents solve the problem or adults solve the problem.
Interesting.
They
Mhm.
some control over changing something for the better. And
Mhm.
so it kind of encourages them again, maybe a little bit of subliminal message. You know, Nick figured this out. I'm going to figure this out too.
Right.
So this choice for Nick to solve the problem.
Yeah. I love that.
I always tell people, I know I wrote this book, so it's hard for me to say this, but I really love this book. I mean, it's one of my favorite books in general, not just a favorite book of books that I've written. I just
Hmm.
this book every time I read it. It's going to sound so silly. Every time I read it, I get a little like rim of little water in my eyes and I feel a little bit of goosebumps, especially when you get to the end and there's that special message.
Yeah.
It just gets me every single time. And I wrote it, but it gets me every single time. I love
Hmm.
that book.
I love, and I was also thinking about how it's kind of a different style than like the Kayla books. When did you write this in relation to the Kayla? Did you write this one first?
Yes, I
I mean,
wrote that.
okay.
Hmm. Yeah. I wrote this one a couple of years before the Kayla series.
And I also loved about, it has the message about just his language, like he would keep calling things or call people stupid, and the
Yeah.
mom was always getting on him for that. And then he also got another reinforcement at the end about why it's important to drop that. I loved.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people read this book and right up front they kind of brace or grimace. They're always like, do you have to use that word? Because um,
Right.
we don't use words like that in kids' books because we
Mhm.
don't want to force, that they use it. But
Right.
honestly think it was a great thing to put in a book because kids need to see how that sounds. They need to hear how that and and whether you put it in a book or not, the bottom line is kids are saying stuff like this
Mhm.
and maybe even a little worse. And so, to reinforce that kind of feeling that maybe even Santa Claus can hear you saying these words, so you need to watch careful. you know, I thought that was a good message to reinforce too. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked having it in there, and also like you said, I hadn't thought about it, but just having them hear back what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think they too do kind of you know, grimace a little bit when they hear it and they think, well, you guys say that stuff all the time. Do you ever think about how that sounds? I love that. And even just him playing the video games. I mean, he looks and sounds like a real kid, you know, how you act and that he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
In the
Like
winter.
in the wintertime and he has to go out in the snow and he
Yeah.
doesn't put a jacket on. He just kind of figures out how to hang out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so realistic about it. I love it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for saying that because when you're an author, you think sometimes you have something good, but you really don't know until you hear the feedback from other people. So even though In the Nick of Time is uh, at least a year old now, I still love hearing about it because, like I said, it's one of my favorite books, and I love hearing when it touches other people. So, guys, DM me or email me your thoughts about the book. I love to hear it. We love Amazon reviews too. If you decide to get the book and leave an Amazon review. And I wanted to share before we go, Leanna, that we have a new rafflecopter giveaway, which just started right at the top of this Instagram live. So if you go right now to the latest blog on our website, or right after I get off of here, I'm going to tweet it out on the Makeaway Media Twitter account. I'm trying
Great.
to think you can find out about it. But there's a lot of ways you can find out about the Makeaway Media giveaway that we're having right now. And you can win the entire 5-book Kayla series, plus some goodies, plus a $50 gift card if you sign up for our mailing list. Yeah, so that's going to be a present for someone.
When is the how long does the giveaway go? How long
Uh,
did it have to get
Kayla
on?
from, it just started today and it lasts till 2 p.m. on December 16th, which means when you and I meet on December 16th, we'll meet again on Thursday next week. But
Uh-huh.
when you meet again on December 16th, we'll have some exciting news to share.
Yay! Oh, that's good. That's fun to look forward to.
Yeah, we'll be able to announce the winner of this big giveaway. It's one of the biggest giveaways we've ever had, so I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that'll be fun to have because these books make great Christmas presents. If
Yeah,
anybody, they help you get ready.
especially when it's a whole collection, because I tell you, the collection together is gorgeous.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it is, especially because you're following one girl as she grows up. It's really beautiful to read them as a set.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great series. So I know you all will enjoy it, and I know someone will love it as a Christmas present if that's what you decide to do with it. But thank you so much for your time today, Lynn. I love getting on here and talking with you. Hope you're doing
Me
it.
too.
Hopefully next year we'll hear from some other people who'll get on with you and talk about how they made a way in their life, because that's what Make Away Media is all about. We want people to follow their dreams. If you have the dream, you have it for a reason. So you need to take little steps every day to make sure you make that happen. So thanks so much, Leanna, for joining us every week. You've really added a strong component to our team. So we're very happy to have you.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. I really look forward to our talks.
Thank you. All right. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Enter the giveaway, everybody. Bye.